I am writing this because I do not know where else to put it. I am not looking for advice, sympathy, or judgment. I am writing it down because it happened, and because I still live inside the consequences of it every day. I am a man in my late 50s. I worked most of my adult life without interruption. I paid my taxes, kept my credit clean, saved consistently, and avoided drama wherever possible. I believed that if you paid attention and stayed disciplined, most problems could be managed or avoided. I still believe that, though not in the same way. Before all of this, my life was quiet and orderly. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., most weekdays, sometimes 6 if I had taken the day off. I drank 1 cup of black coffee at the kitchen counter while reading the news on my tablet. I made my own breakfast, usually eggs or oatmeal, and cleaned the pan immediately after using it. I kept my house the same way for years. Everything had a place. The bills were paid on the 1st of the month. I balanced my accounts on the 15th. I checked my retirement portfolio on the last Friday of every month and then did not look at it again until the next one. I lived alone. I had been divorced for several years by then. The divorce was not dramatic. We did not scream or throw things. We grew apart, agreed on terms, sold the old house, split the proceeds, and moved on. I kept my dignity intact, or at least I believed I had. I did not date much afterward. I had a few short relationships, but nothing that disrupted my routines. I liked coming home to silence. I liked knowing exactly what my expenses were and where my money was. I owned my house outright. It was a modest, single-story place in a quiet neighborhood. No HOA. No shared walls. I did the yard work myself on Saturdays. I fixed what I could and hired professionals when it made sense. I was not lonely in the way people imagine loneliness. I was accustomed to my own company. I had habits. I had systems. I met her through work, though she did not work at my company. She handled administrative support for a vendor we used occasionally. We spoke on the phone a few times about invoices and scheduling. She was polite and efficient. I did not think about her outside of those conversations. Later, we ran into each other in person at a regional meeting. We talked briefly. She was divorced as well, living in a rental after a long marriage. There was nothing dramatic about our first interactions. No sparks, no grand stories, just conversation. We began having coffee every few weeks. Then, once a week. It fit into my schedule. Saturday mornings, usually. I did not feel like I was changing my life. I felt like I was adding something small and manageable. She talked more than I did. I listened. I asked questions when it seemed appropriate. She told me about her work, her stress, her ex-husband's irresponsibility with money. That part registered with me. I remember thinking that I understood how that felt. Eventually, she began spending more time at my house. At first, it was just afternoons, then evenings. She would leave before bedtime. I did not ask her to stay. She did not ask either. It happened gradually. One night, she fell asleep on the couch. I covered her with a blanket. In the morning, she made coffee as if she had done it 100 times. She knew where the mugs were because she had paid attention. I noticed these things. I always notice things. I considered that a strength. After a few months, she began keeping a toothbrush at my place. Then, a change of clothes. I did not object. It seemed practical. She lived across town. Driving back and forth was inefficient. I told myself it was just convenience. I did not think of it as cohabitation. I thought of it as extended visits. She never formally moved in. There was no discussion where we sat down and agreed on terms. She just started being there more often than not. Her mail still went to her rental. Her name was not on anything. That was important to me, and I made sure of it. I told myself that I was being careful. She helped around the house. She cooked sometimes. She reorganized a few cabinets with my permission. I told myself it was harmless. I did not want to be difficult. I'd always prided myself on being reasonable. If something bothered me, I made a note of it mentally and waited to see if it became a pattern. She suggested we open a joint checking account for shared expenses. I did not agree immediately. I thought about it for weeks. I asked questions. What would it be used for? How much would we put in? How often would we review it? She said groceries, utilities, small household items. She said it would make things simpler. She did not pressure me. That mattered to me. When we finally did it, we agreed on a fixed monthly contribution from each of us. The amount was modest compared to my income. I set alerts on the account. I reviewed statements monthly. I told myself I was staying in control. Over time, the boundaries softened. Not all at once. Little things. She asked if she could use my car one afternoon because hers was in the shop. Then again another week. I added her as an authorized user on one credit card for emergencies. I told myself it was responsible. I had excellent credit. She said hers had taken a hit after the divorce. I believed her. She talked about wanting stability, about wanting to feel safe again. I understood that language. I valued those things myself. I liked being seen as reliable. I noticed changes before I admitted them to myself. Small ones. A transfer I did not remember authorizing. A grocery bill higher than usual. A utility payment that came from the joint account instead of her personal one. I noted them. I did not confront her. I told myself I would wait and see if it happened again. It did happen again. And again. She became more protective of her phone. She took calls outside. She said it was work. Her hours changed. She stayed out later. She said she was tired. I watched. I listened. I said very little. I checked statements more frequently. I printed them and put them in a folder. I highlighted entries. I told myself I was gathering information, not being paranoid. I believed that a man should know what was happening before he spoke. One evening, I saw a charge from a hotel 20 minutes from our house. It was not a business hotel. It was a place known for short stays. I did not say anything. I looked it up. I checked dates. I compared them to her schedule. The confirmation came quietly. No dramatic discovery. No shouting. Just alignment of facts that could no longer be ignored. A transfer from my savings to the joint account I did not authorize. A credit card charge for dinner for two when she said she was working late. A message on her phone that popped up while it was on the kitchen counter. When I finally spoke to her, my voice was calm. I asked simple questions. She denied at first, then minimized, then cried. I did not raise my voice. I told her to pack her things. The aftermath was practical and slow. Closing accounts, freezing credit, changing passwords, reclaiming routines. The house felt different. Quieter, but not in the way it used to. I tried confronting the other man. It did nothing. I considered legal action but decided against it. The money was mostly gone, but not enough to ruin me. Enough to remind me. Now my days look similar to before, but they are not the same. I still wake up early. I still drink my coffee at the counter. I still check my accounts, but I do it more often. I trust less. I watch more. I do not feel anger most of the time. I feel a kind of flatness. I continue living. I maintain the house. I go to work. I do not know if I will let anyone that close again. I do not say that dramatically. It is just an observation. There is no conclusion to this. It did not resolve neatly. I live with it. That is all. If you made it this far, you're a legend. Leave a like and subscribe so I know you're one of the real ones. Thank you.